Straight ahead on CCX News, a Maple Grove woman who has good reason to feel pumped, the accomplishment that earned her statewide recognition. Plus, the school board vote is in. We'll break down the Robbinsdale area school cuts. But first, a difficult and heartbreaking case in Brooklyn Park that involves runaway children and a home authorities say is unfit to live in.
We see the majority of youth that are running from home are running from bad situations.
How nonprofits say it's a version of a story they hear all too often. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. 4 children are out of their Brooklyn Park home and in protective custody after a police investigation. Officials were called to the home in the 8200 block of Queen Avenue Monday after an 11-year-old girl went missing and was later found. Reporter SONYA GOINS has more on the case.
On Tuesday, crews continued to remove items from inside this Brooklyn Park home. A note on the front door says the home is uninhabitable.
The officers searched the home and determined there was very concerning factors inside the home that was not fit for children to be there.
Police spent hours canvassing this Brooklyn Park neighborhood looking for a missing 11-year-old girl.
Oh my gosh, and there was one of those big trucks out here and everything looking for her.
During their search, they stumbled upon something unexpected at a nearby park.
They located a separate 12-year-old child that was living in a nearby park and had been gone for at least 2 days living in that park. That child was also found to belong to this home and was placed on a hold.
After many hours, there was a break in the case. The 11-year-old girl was found in Bloomington, oddly enough by her neighbor, who literally lives down the street from her in Brooklyn Park.
Yeah, I've seen her.
Marilyn Harris and her husband were at a doctor's appointment when they spotted the girl sitting on a nearby curb.
So she knew us and she knew the Jeep, so that's why she came over. It was just pure happenstance or God's will or something that we happened to be there and someone dropped her off. And we lived on the same street.
Meanwhile, court documents show police have been to this Brooklyn Park home several times before, including back in February when an 8-year-old boy was found dead at the home. The children were placed in protective custody at that time and eventually returned back to the mother.
Police officers have the authority based on their observations at any time of the day to remove children and place them in protective custody and temporarily.
Very quiet, very nice young girl.
We talked with neighbors who live on the street and they say the children would be out playing, but they didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
She seemed like a nice little girl. She really did. She was very polite, very quiet, didn't say anything more.
In Brooklyn Park, SONYA GOINS, CCX News.
The children are in protective custody while Hennepin County Child Protection conducts an investigation. Meanwhile, the mother is in the hospital. No word yet on why she was admitted. As for the death of the 8-year-old boy, Hennepin County officials say the investigation is ongoing. The story out of Brooklyn Park might sound shocking, but nonprofits who work with homeless youth say it's a story they deal with all too often.
For our community as a whole, what we really want to see people understand is that when you hear a story about a kid that's running, more often than not, the first thing I would think is there something going on inside that home that's causing that child to feel safer out on the street than they do at home? And that's the tragedy, and that's what we see. The majority of the young people that we serve are running from a bad situation.
The nonprofit Hope for Youth says on any given night there are about 6,000 youth homeless in Minnesota. They help youth under the age of 23 in the North Metro. This advocate told us many youth who wind up homeless begin that journey by running away from something bad happening at home.
I think the majority of what happens and what we see, and probably the biggest misconception, is that runaways are rebellious kids. They're kids that are in trouble with the law. They're kids that are not wanting rules at home. And actually that's not the case. What we see, the majority of youth that are running from home are running from bad situations. They're running from toxic situations.
Hope for Youth says if you want to be on the front lines of helping youth in situations like this, check out their website for ways to donate or get involved. The Robbinsdale School Board unanimously approved more than $10 million in cuts Monday night. The decision follows months of budget discussions and input gathered from the schools themselves and the various bargaining units. The chair of the school board says it wasn't a top-down decision.
Thankfully, our staff, both in building and our bargaining units, all came together, and we've gotten very close now to that 10.6 number.
Here's how the vote will impact the classroom. 28 probationary teachers, or those with less than 3 years experience, will be eliminated. The board originally considered eliminating as many as 40 teachers. As a result, class sizes in grades 4 through 12 will increase by 1 student next school year.
We'll see what the effect is, but again, that's an easy ratio to be able to help alleviate. I think it was about $750,000 just by making that adjustment back in December.
Shortages in enrollment due to fewer kids attending Robbinsdale area schools is one reason for the cuts. Maintenance and construction on school buildings are not impacted by the vote, since that is a separate pot of money. In Maple Grove, something that has been in the works for the last 3 years is now closer to becoming a reality. The City Council has approved spending $100,000 to help pay for Veterans Memorial at Central Park. It would be located on the southern edge of the park. The Beyond the Yellow Ribbon group is fundraising to pay for the rest of the $250,000 total cost. The memorial would honor those who fought in all military conflicts from the Civil War on. Steel panels seen here in an artist's rendition would recognize fallen soldiers from the area. A ceremonial groundbreaking is planned during Maple Grove Days next month. The memorial could be completed this fall. A big expansion could be in the works for an area dealership. Jaguar Land Rover of Golden Valley is asking the City Council to approve a 5,000 square foot extension to its showroom as part of a building remodel. The move is part of a corporate mandate for Jaguar and Land Rover dealerships to update their showroom design. City staff has recommended approval of the request, provided the dealership stop its occasional practice of unloading new cars on the street instead of within the property. The City Council will hold a public hearing on the proposal tonight, June 19th, at City Hall. An area city is looking for volunteers to be election judges. Brooklyn Center needs 10 to 20 election judges for the general election this November. That's on top of the 58 they already have. Anyone who has a U.S. citizen over the age of 18 can sign up. Hennepin County officials say bilingual judges are especially helpful. Brooklyn Center City Clerk says it's just important for people to volunteer.
The right to vote is something that some people take, for granted, and having competent staff there to help everyone that comes in is just a wonderful thing for the city.
To volunteer, call Brooklyn Center City Clerk for an application packet at the number on your screen, or just stop by City Hall. That number is also available on our website, ccxmedia.org. Still ahead, a Maple Grove woman who has accomplished some remarkable fitness goals. You'll meet a bodybuilding champion coming up next. Plus, the North Metro area is set to become a regular stop on the PGA Tour. We'll hear more of those details. But first, sunshine returns on Wednesday, but temperatures remain comfortable. We'll be right back. A Maple Grove mom celebrated a big accomplishment last month, winning her division in the Miss Natural Minnesota competition. As Delane Cleveland reports, preparation for the bodybuilding competition took months of hard work, clean eating, and determination.
Go to any gym in the world and you'll find people trying to achieve any number of fitness goals. But even those in top physical condition have workouts they don't particularly enjoy.
It's just something what you have to do, but yeah, I do hate it.
Leg day can do that to a person, yet Joanna Plusht still makes her way to the gym nearly every single day. For this Maple Grove mom, it's a way of life.
At the age of 40, this is where I am in my body. This is the first time in my life when I'm happy with my body. I obtain what I wanted.
Joanna has a good reason to be happy. Last month,
this is the one I just won, yes.
She won her division in the Ms. Natural Minnesota competition. It's a bodybuilding competition where the competitors wear bikinis.
The show I won is the Natural Clean show. So basically, you eat clean, you train hard, and then you're ready, to go on a stage.
In other words, she accomplished the feat without the use of steroids and other bodybuilding supplements. All she had was determination and a trainer to help accomplish her goals. Meanwhile, Joanna wanted to clear up misconceptions that people might have about the sport.
It's not a weight loss competition. It's not a beauty pageant. You have to have muscles. You have to know how to move on the stage. You have to know the tricks to do on the stage to look better.
A competitive athlete all her life, it's only within the past 5 years that she decided to take up bodybuilding.
As I started competing, it was just pure athleticism and just competitive spirit, just to go and see how far I can go, how hard I can push it.
Now she has a shelf full of trophies to highlight her accomplishments. But most importantly, she's programmed herself on how to live a healthy life.
You learn a lot about healthy eating, about healthy lifting. You meet amazing people on the way.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Congratulations, Joanna. Still ahead, this week's backyard getaway will come in handy the next time more tropical heat moves in. That is coming up later. But first, we recognize some of the top high school softball and baseball players in the area. John Jacobson is in next with sports.
Next summer, for the first time in 50 years, Minnesota will be a regular stop on the PGA Tour. The 3M Champions Tournament for the senior golfers will end after this year and be replaced by the 3M Open. We talked to Hollis Kavner about the new tournament earlier today.
Championship was phenomenal. It was great to us. It's I love that tour, but the media on it doesn't reach near as much as what the PGA Tour does. I mean, the difference is the PGA Tour reaches over 1 billion homes worldwide, and it's 225 countries and all those things. When you start looking at that compared to the championship reach, it's just a totally different name. And 3M's a global company, so from a marketing side, we started going, is there something better we should be doing? And that was okay. Let's go for a regular tour event.
You got a lot of golf fans in the northern suburbs here and northwest suburbs. Have you heard from them? Are they excited about PGA Tour stop?
It's been incredible, actually. Tom Vanelli's worked for us for 27 years now as sales and marketing director for the event. And Tom says, my phone's ringing off the hook for people wanting to get involved. And, same thing with our volunteer coordinator. Said that, they're getting calls like crazy. People going, I want to volunteer for the, and we already have 1,700 volunteers that have worked for us. Some of them for 20 have been here every single year. And, but, the phones have been ringing off the hook. People, literally thousands of emails coming in just saying, hey, congratulations, we're excited. And, a lot of the corporations big corporations have called us and said, look, let's get a meeting. We need to talk about the future. So that's exciting. I mean, when they start calling you instead of us having to chase them, it's a lot different than what it's normally been, I can tell you.
There's one more 3M championship coming up here in August, but then you got to get the course ready for the 3M Open. And what is involved in that, and what kind of changes do you envision?
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of change. It's lengthening, especially. Thank goodness I talked to Tom Lehman over the weekend, and I was coming back from the U.S. Open, and Tom and I were going back and forth, and I said, Tom, the tour has a design team. And I said, Tom, I want you to be my design team, because I love what he does. I love his design. He's just a good guy also. Plus, he knows what players like and don't like, and also what it takes to make a course play well and play tough. We actually start having meetings tomorrow on course design and redesign, bunkering, moving some bunkers, extending some bunkers, but adding about 600 yards to the golf course in total, narrowing the fairways down. But the other thing is that we have to get prepared for about 3 times the size of the crowds. And also just the corporate hospitality will triple in the next year.
The final dates haven't been released yet, but the 3M Open will likely debut at the TPC in the week of July 1st, beginning in 2019. The spring high school season is just about in the books. This week on our Sports Jam show here on CCX, Jay Wilcox and I recognize the top players in the northwest suburbs on our all-area softball and baseball teams. Here's a clip from those 2 teams. If we were to name a player of the year from the area, it would likely be number 31, Natalie Den-Hartog of Hopkins. The senior shortstop and pitcher hit .580 on the season with 10 home runs, while going 37 for 37 in stolen base attempts. In the 2-game Section 6-4A final against Edina, U of M signee and first-team All-Metro pick Den-Hartog reached base an incredible 14 straight times. She's going to go in with a triple. Champlin Park shortstop number 6 Holly Blaska had another big year for the Section 5-4A runner-up Rebels. First-team All-Metro selection Blaska hit .568 with 18 extra base hits and 29 runs batted in. Opponents respected her too. Blaska was intentionally walked 14 times this season.
Heritage Christian Academy's number 8 Seth Halverson is one of the most dominant hurlers ever in the area. Halverson routinely tops 90 miles per hour with his fastball and entered the state tournament with a 6-1 record, 1.14 ERA, and 96 strikeouts in 43 innings. He's also a strong shortstop and hit .405 with 12 extra base hits and 21 RBIs. Our shortstops include Tanner Stein of Park Center. The junior was a key cog on an improved Pirates team that went 6-7 in league play and beat Champlain Park, Totino Grace, and Maple Grove. Stein hit .400 with 7 extra base hits and led the Pirates in runs and RBIs.
You can see the complete teams and much more this week on our season finale of Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday on CCX1 and online anytime at ccxmedia.org. That's it for sports. We're back with more in just a moment.
Despite today's rain and gloom, there are brighter days on the horizon, which is why we are going swimming in this week's Backyard Getaways. Eric Nelson went to Crystal recently and discovered one of the top pools in the area.
All ages are able to find fun in the water here at the pool, whether it's our zero depth pool, the diving board, the drop slide, our big flume slides, the water walk, the basketball hoop.
For 50 years, the Crystal Cove has been a popular summer hotspot in the northwest suburbs.
And I think that our pool has the features to be a shining star in the community.
The Cove is a magnet, pulling in people from all over the Twin Cities.
I think it is an escape, and people in the community are constantly talking about the pool as well and wanting to come here. So it's really fun to see all the kids coming after their baseball games, still in their uniforms, hoping to jump in the pool and cool off afterwards.
From toddlers to teenagers.
They have like the kiddie pool for the younger kids and then diving board and like the other deeper pool area for the bigger kids.
The Crystal Cove has a reputation as being a cool pool.
I come here almost every day after a bench club and just to swim.
Fun. Everything is fun.
Families come here to soak up the fun and soak up the sun.
There's just a lot of different features where everyone's able to have fun.
For some, the Cove is the perfect summer escape, a chance to get away without going far away.
People that don't have cabins are coming to the pool on the weekends, enjoying that time with family, spending time outside, just really able to enjoy the nice Minnesota weather.
Most kids who go to the Cove enjoy the water slides.
Because they're really fast and stuff.
Brandon Valadez of Robbinsdale comes to the Cove often and even took us for a GoPro ride down one of the slides. For Backyard Getaways, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
How cool is that? And for some other water getaway ideas in our area, you can check out our website, ccxmedia.org. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a good night.